Hey, I've been promising. Okay, first step is you have to have a source slash AWS exports JS for it to work. This is on the README on the GitHub. So the first one you should use is this one here. If you just copy and paste this one, that points to the AWS, so my AWS backend. So that'll work with what's currently there. If you need to work on a backend that's not merged yet or pushed to my AWS backend, like if you wanted to work on one of these, you speak to the person who wrote that and they'll ask them for their AWS exports JS, and also where is it here? They're under the GraphQL. You see the mutations and queries that's generated when you work on when you create the backend. So you'll also need to include to pull their version into here of that. And I guess how that works is when you run it locally, this file basically points at a backend. It tells you where the GraphQL endpoint and also the Cognito pool. So that's really what that does. So by default, this one will point at mine, but just be aware that the backend changes made by the other guys might not be there yet until it's merged and pushed into the main backend. All right, so that's that one. The other one, I just want to talk about the patterns that the front ends take. So if you look at the pull requests, and I've got this one called education page, and it's actually, there's a couple of new front ends in there. There's education, there's, I think engagements was just changes and fixes, but there's licenses and membership. So you can see those, there, and you can follow the, I guess, looking at the changes I made, including the routes, changes to the routes that I've made, and kind of copy that. Like what's a simple one is memberships. So they all follow a pattern of, I guess, list, edit, and new. And so what I mean by that is, if we look at this, so we're in memberships here. This is the list page. If you see the URL, it's just memberships. From here, I can create a new one. The organization, hours, org2, start date, we'll put an end date on there, level at AAA, and if I click save, you see a little thing down here as well, and that's saved it and it's added it here. Now the layout here is just put one item. Obviously the main one can be bold, but that's what we've got now, and then just an item after that. Don't get too obsessed with making this look fantastic right now. This is just a card, and we can work on making the card look better, and then that'll just be across the board. So you can do that, or you can edit existing ones. So the one I've just created is you click on edit, and I can change that to this, save. And before I hit that, you can see here the URL is edit membership /ID. So that's the ID from DynamoDB. I click save, and if I click new membership, it's the same URL, edit membership, but it doesn't have the ID there. So that's the pattern on how it looks. And if you look at the code, where's member here? It basically follows that you've got a directory memberships, and I've got an index.js, that's the list page. And then I've got an edit members membership folder with also an index, and that's the edit or new page. So if I look at this one, it's pretty straightforward. It just says if not profile, get the profile. So it pulls down the actual profile from there, and then once it's got the profile, it gets it's called engagement data, but it should be membership data. It's a variable name. And it just goes to the GraphQL and pulls the list of memberships, and then sets that to the state of memberships, as you can see here, and then in the JSX, it loops through memberships, memberships.map, and just loops through and just displays it there. So it's got a little edit button, and there's the level, end date, and if you look at that